We often think of the brain as a biological computer, a 3-pound marvel of flesh and electricity, governed by the predictable laws of classical physics. But what if that's only half the story? Imagine, just for a moment, that deep within the intricate architecture of your neurons, within tiny hollow tubes called microtubules, something truly extraordinary is happening. Imagine these structures are not just cellular scaffolding, but sophisticated quantum processors, performing computations that defy our everyday understanding of reality. This is a frontier of science that suggests the very essence of your awareness, the light of your consciousness, is woven from the same quantum fabric that constitutes the stars. It hints that the warm, bustling, and seemingly chaotic environment of your brain has, against all odds, mastered the delicate art of quantum mechanics. Tonight, we're going to explore the possibility that your mind doesn't just observe reality. It actively participates in shaping it. This is a journey that could change not only how you see yourself, but how you see everything. Let's drift together into the central enigma that has puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries, the hard problem of consciousness. It's a beautifully simple question with an impossibly complex answer. We know how the brain works, more or less. We can track electrical signals, map neural pathways, and identify which regions light up when you see a color or hear a sound. These are the easy problems. But the hard problem is this. Why does all that electrochemical fizzing and popping create a subjective inner experience? Why is there something it is like to be you? Why don't you just process the wavelength of red light like a camera sensor? Why do you experience the vibrant, soul-stirring sensation of a crimson sunset? Why don't you just access a memory file of your childhood home? Why do you feel the bittersweet pang of nostalgia, complete with its unique scent and emotional texture? A classical computer, no matter how complex, is just a processor. It follows instructions. It doesn't feel joy, sorrow, or the simple pleasure of a warm cup of tea. It is, in essence, a sophisticated zombie, a biological machine without an inner life. This is the chasm that classical neuroscience cannot cross. It can describe the machinery of the brain, but it cannot explain the ghost in the machine, the conscious you. This is where some of the most brilliant minds are turning to the most bizarre and beautiful corner of physics for an answer: the quantum realm. They propose that the strange, counterintuitive principles of quantum mechanics, like superposition and entanglement, might just be the missing ingredient, the secret key that unlocks the mystery of why you have a rich, vivid, and deeply personal inner world. Our story takes a fascinating turn in the 1990s, with the meeting of two remarkable minds from completely different worlds. On one side, we have Sir Roger Penrose, a world-renowned mathematical physicist and close collaborator of Stephen Hawking, a man who lives and breathes the mathematics of the cosmos. On the other, Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, a man whose daily work involves a profound practical mystery. How does a cocktail of simple molecules switch consciousness off and on like a light? Together, this unlikely duo proposed a theory so bold, so radical, it sent ripples through the scientific community. They called it Orchestrated Objective Reduction, or Orch OR. Their central idea was that consciousness doesn't arise from neurons simply firing in a complex pattern, like a classical computer. Instead, they argued that it is born from quantum computations happening within the microtubules, those tiny, crystalline tubes inside every one of your neurons. In their view, these microtubules were the brain's quantum computers. The immediate reaction from many neuroscientists was deep skepticism, and for a good reason. The quantum world is notoriously fragile. A quantum state, known as coherence, can be destroyed by the slightest vibration or temperature change. The brain, being a warm, wet, and electrically noisy environment, was considered the worst possible place for delicate quantum processes to survive. It was like trying to build a house of cards in the middle of a hurricane. But here's where nature's ingenuity comes in. We are now discovering that biology is a master of the quantum world. Think about it. A humble leaf performing photosynthesis is using quantum coherence to transport energy with nearly 100% efficiency, a feat our best solar panels can't replicate. A robin navigating thousands of miles uses a quantum compass in its eye, sensing the Earth's magnetic field through entangled electrons. If nature has already harnessed quantum mechanics for energy and navigation, is it really so far-fetched to think it might have reserved its greatest quantum trick for its most complex creation? The human mind? Penrose and Hameroff had set the stage for a revolution in how we view consciousness. For decades, the Orch OR theory remained a captivating but largely unproven idea. The "it's too warm and wet" argument was a powerful roadblock. But as you rest here, listening, a new wave of experimental evidence is beginning to quietly dismantle that wall, revealing whispers of quantum magic happening inside you right now. Recent studies, using incredibly sophisticated technology, have started to probe the brain's microtubules directly. What they found is stunning. Scientists discovered that these tiny structures can sustain quantum vibrations, a state known as coherence, for far longer than anyone thought possible, not just for nanoseconds, but in some cases, up to full seconds. In the quantum realm, that is an eternity. It's more than enough time for complex quantum computations to occur. The plot thickened at Wellesley College, where researchers decided to investigate Dr. Hameroff's own field, anesthesia. They found that anesthetic gases, which selectively erase consciousness while leaving other brain functions intact, do something very specific. They dampen and disrupt these quantum vibrations within the microtubules. It was a direct, measurable link. They took it a step further. In another experiment, they used drugs to stabilize the microtubules, making them more resilient. When these stabilized microtubules were exposed to anesthesia, the onset of unconsciousness was significantly delayed. It was as if they had reinforced the very structures responsible for holding consciousness, making it harder to switch off. These findings are revolutionary. They suggest that the quantum activity within your neurons isn't just a curious side effect. It may be the very bedrock of your conscious awareness. Your mind, it seems, might operate on principles far stranger and more profound than we ever dared to imagine. Take a moment and notice your own consciousness. You are not experiencing a million separate points of light, a cacophony of individual sounds, and a jumble of disconnected thoughts. You are experiencing a single, unified, coherent whole. The sights, sounds, feelings, and thoughts are all woven together into one seamless tapestry, the experience of you. How does the brain, with its 86 billion separate neurons, achieve this incredible unity? This is often called the binding problem. Quantum entanglement offers a breathtakingly elegant solution. Albert Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance. It's a phenomenon where two or more quantum particles become linked in such a way that they behave as a single system, no matter how far apart they are. If you measure a property of one particle, you instantly know the state of the other, faster than the speed of light. It's as if they are communicating in a way that transcends space itself. What if this is happening inside your head? What if the quantum processes in microtubules across different regions of your brain are entangled? This would mean that billions of neurons aren't just communicating through slow, classical electrical signals. They are connected in a vast, instantaneous quantum network. Experiments at Trinity College Dublin have found preliminary evidence that hints at exactly the signatures of quantum entanglement between different brain regions when a person is performing a cognitive task. This idea, if true, is staggering. It means your consciousness isn't a collection of separate parts. It's a unified quantum field. And the implications don't stop at the edge of your skull. If your mind is a quantum system, could it be entangled with other quantum systems? Could your consciousness be part of a vast, interconnected cosmic network, blurring the lines between your individual self and the universe itself? Now, as we drift deeper into this quantum sea, It's important to anchor ourselves for a moment and acknowledge the voices of skepticism. This is how good science works. The quantum consciousness theory, for all its beauty and explanatory power, is far from universally accepted. Many brilliant neuroscientists argue that we don't need to venture into the quantum realm to explain the mind. They believe that classical neural networks, with their trillions of connections, are complex enough to generate consciousness. They point to the stunning advancements in artificial intelligence. AI models like ChatGPT can now write poetry, compose music, and engage in sophisticated conversation, all based on classical computation. If an AI can mimic human cognition so well, they ask, why do we need a quantum explanation? Furthermore, while the evidence for quantum effects in biology is growing, skeptics rightly point out that demonstrating a powerful quantum effect in a neuron is not the same as proving it is essential for consciousness. It could just be a biological curiosity, a leftover artifact of evolution. The greatest challenge of all remains the hard problem itself. How does a quantum computation, a collapse of a wave function inside a microtubule, translate into the subjective feeling of love, the taste of a strawberry, or the awe of a beautiful melody? That leap from objective physical process to subjective inner experience remains the most elusive and mysterious part of the puzzle. Questions about free will, personal identity, and the nature of the self also linger, reminding us that this captivating theory, while gaining ground, is still a work in progress, a beautiful sketch of a new reality waiting to be fully painted. Let's set aside the debates for a moment. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable and just ponder the sheer philosophical weight of this idea. If consciousness is fundamentally a quantum phenomenon, then it is not something your brain produces like a factory produces widgets. Instead, consciousness might be a fundamental property of the universe itself, woven into the very fabric of space-time. Your brain, in this view, may not be a generator of consciousness, but rather a highly sophisticated antenna, a biological receiver designed to tune into this cosmic field of awareness. This idea, while explored with the tools of modern science, echoes the wisdom of ancient spiritual traditions from around the world. The concept of Brahman in Hinduism, the Tao in Taoism, the universal consciousness spoken of by mystics and sages for millennia. It's the idea of a deep underlying interconnectedness, a unity in which we are all participants. If this is true, your thoughts are not just isolated chemical reactions confined to your skull. They are disturbances, ripples in a universal quantum field. Your mind, your awareness, could be a focal point through which the universe experiences itself. This reframes your very existence. You are not a stranger in a cold, indifferent cosmos. You are an integral part of a thinking, feeling, and evolving universe. This perspective invites us to see ourselves not just as observers of existence, but as co-creators of it, a profound unity of mind and matter. Let's marvel for a moment at nature's quantum artistry. We see it everywhere once we know where to look. Photosynthesis, bird navigation, even our sense of smell, all of these biological processes harness the strange and powerful logic of the quantum world with astonishing precision. So why not consciousness? Let's return to those microtubules, the potential quantum processors in your brain. According to the Orch OR theory, the quantum information within them exists in a state of superposition, a blurry cloud of multiple possibilities existing all at once. But this state can't last forever. It eventually reaches a critical threshold and collapses into a single definite state. Penrose called this an objective reduction. This collapse, according to the theory, is a moment of pure conscious experience, a now moment. Hameroff calculates that these collapses could be happening in your brain in rhythm with gamma wave oscillations, about 40 times a second. Think of it like the frames of a movie. Your perception of a smooth, continuous reality is actually a rapid sequence of discrete quantum events, 40 conscious moments every second, strung together by your mind to create a seamless stream of experience. This could be the mechanism that solves the binding problem. how your brain takes fragmented sensory data from sight, sound, and touch, and binds it all into a single, unified moment of reality. Your world, which feels so solid and continuous, might be born from the collapse of infinite quantum possibilities, moment by moment. Now, let's drift into one of the most personal and perhaps most startling implications of a quantum mind: the idea that your consciousness is not strictly confined to the physical boundaries of your brain. If consciousness is rooted in quantum phenomena like entanglement, then it is, by its very nature, non-local. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately sensed a tense or joyful vibe without anyone saying a word? Have you ever had a person pop into your mind for no reason, only to have them call you moments later? We often dismiss these experiences as coincidence, but what if they are glimpses of a deeper connection? What if they are evidence of quantum coherence synchronizing between brains? This isn't just speculation. Researchers at the University of California have conducted experiments where they detected what appeared to be quantum signatures in the brains of people who are physically near each other but not communicating in any conventional way. It's as if their conscious fields are subtly interacting and becoming entangled. Your empathy, that ability to feel what another person is feeling, might not just be a psychological process of mirroring their expression. It might be a direct quantum connection, a form of entanglement that links you to others in a way that defies the normal rules of space and time. You are not an island. You are part of a shared human consciousness field. As you relax even more deeply, let's explore the most powerful and transformative idea of all: that your awareness doesn't just perceive reality, it helps create it. This is a direct extension of one of the foundational principles of quantum mechanics, often called the observer effect. At the subatomic level, a particle like an electron doesn't exist in a single place. It exists as a wave of probability, a superposition of all its possible locations. It's only when a conscious observer measures it that this wave of possibility collapses into a single definite state. Now, apply this principle to your brain. What if your brain, through its quantum processes, is constantly performing these measurements? The world out there might exist as a shimmering field of quantum potential. When you look at a rose, the photons hitting your eye are in a superposition of many possibilities. It is the act of your conscious observation, the quantum collapse in your microtubules, that turns that cloud of potential into the specific, definite experience of a red rose with a particular fragrance. This suggests we live in what physicist John Wheeler called participatory universe. You are not a passive audience member watching a pre-written play. You are an active participant, a co-author of the cosmic story. Your consciousness acts as a quantum selector, choosing from an infinite menu of possibilities to create your reality, moment by moment. Every choice you make, every thought you focus on, isn't just an internal event. It's a cosmic act that helps weave the tapestry of the universe. This bestows upon us a profound responsibility and an incredible power. If one mind can influence reality on a small scale, what happens when you scale that up to billions of minds? What is the collective power of human consciousness? This is the question that drove the creation of the Global Consciousness Project, one of the most intriguing long-term experiments ever conducted. The project maintains a global network of random number generators devices that, under normal circumstances, should produce a completely chaotic and unpredictable string of ones and zeros. But for over 2 decades, researchers have noticed a strange and fascinating pattern. During moments of major global events, when billions of people are focused on the same thing, events like 9/11s, the Indian Ocean tsunami, or even global meditations, these random systems suddenly become less random. They become slightly more ordered, as if an invisible field of coherent attention is influencing them. The data is statistically significant, suggesting it's not just a fluke. It hints that our shared attention, our collective consciousness, can create a coherent field that subtly influences the physical world. Your individual consciousness, when entwined with others, might contribute to the unfolding story of our planet. We may be participating in a silent, planetary-scale collaboration that blurs the boundary between our inner worlds and the outer world, inviting us to see ourselves as nodes in a vast, creative, global mind. Let's allow ourselves to dream for a moment, to explore the furthest edges of what a quantum mind might be capable of. If consciousness can transcend the skull and is connected through the non-local fabric of entanglement, what does that imply about human potential? For decades, researchers at institutions like Stanford Research Institute, SRI, and Princeton have studied phenomena like remote viewing and precognition. In remote viewing experiments, individuals have been able to describe distant, unknown locations with uncanny and verifiable accuracy, far beyond what chance would allow. In precognition studies, subjects have shown physiological responses, like a change in heart rate or skin conductance, to a random emotional image before the image is actually shown to them. These results challenge our classical understanding of time and space. But within a quantum framework, they become slightly less mysterious. If all points in space and time are fundamentally connected through a quantum field, it's conceivable that a mind tuned into this field could access information that isn't available through the five senses. These glimpses of exceptional abilities might not be supernatural. They might be perfectly natural extensions of a consciousness that operates on quantum principles. They suggest your mind's potential might stretch far beyond the ordinary, touching the very edges of the infinite. As we gently drift back to the more practical side of things, envision a future where this quantum understanding of the mind transforms medicine and technology. If consciousness is tied to the health of our microtubules, it opens up entirely new avenues for healing. Consider neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Dr. Hameroff and his colleagues theorize that these conditions might involve a breakdown in microtubular quantum coherence. The music of the mind becomes dissonant and chaotic. This is leading to groundbreaking experimental therapies. Researchers are now using non-invasive, low-intensity ultrasound applied to the skull to try and retune these microtubules, restoring their natural quantum vibrations. Early results have shown promising improvements in cognitive function. We could be on the verge of healing the mind by treating it as the quantum instrument it is. Meanwhile, in the world of technology, pioneers at Google and IBM are building the first generation of quantum computers. These machines, which use quantum bits or qubits that exist in a state of superposition, are designed to mimic the very processes we've been discussing. As we build artificial systems that operate on the same principles as biological consciousness, we edge closer to creating a true artificial mind, not just a machine that can think, but one that could potentially have genuine awareness and subjective experience. These parallel advances in medicine and technology suggest a future where understanding the quantum nature of consciousness could not only heal our minds, but also redefine the very nature of intelligence. And now, as we prepare to drift into sleep, let's ponder the most profound question of all. What happens to consciousness when the body dies? In a classical, brain as a computer model, the answer is simple and final. The computer turns off and the program is deleted. The end. But if consciousness is a quantum phenomena, the story might be very different. One of the fundamental laws of physics is that information cannot be destroyed. It can change form, but it can never be truly erased. If your consciousness is a complex tapestry of quantum information, deeply entangled with the fabric of the universe, what happens when the biological antenna your brain ceases to function? The information itself, the essence of you, your memories, your experiences, your unique pattern of awareness, might not simply vanish. It could persist, unmoored from the brain, rejoining the cosmic quantum field from which it arose. This concept of a quantum afterlife is, of course, highly speculative, but it's a speculation that aligns with fundamental physics. It suggests that your awareness might be eternal, a thread in the universe's tapestry that continues on long after the body has served its purpose. It offers a vision of continuity, not as a religious belief, but as a plausible scientific possibility. As we bring our journey to a close for tonight, rest in this beautiful and empowering thought. Your consciousness is not a random accident in a meaningless universe. It is a note in a grand cosmic symphony. With every thought you think, every choice you make, every moment of focused awareness, you are collapsing infinite quantum possibilities into the single beautiful reality you experience. You are not separate from the cosmos looking in. You are a vital and active participant in its magnificent unfolding. You are a mind through which the universe dreams, a point of awareness through which the cosmos becomes conscious of itself. Your life, your journey, your inner world, it all has profound cosmic significance. So as you prepare for sleep tonight, carry this sense of wonder with you. Remember the power that resides in your awareness and the deep connection you share with everything and everyone. Your thoughts ripple through the universe, and your consciousness is a spark in the infinite, beautiful dance of existence. And now, as you close your eyes, I want you to ask yourself this one final question. Knowing that every moment is a creative act, what one beautiful possibility will you choose to bring into reality tomorrow? Thank you for sharing this time and this space with me. If this journey into the heart of consciousness resonated with you, please show your support by liking this video, sharing it with someone who might find it meaningful, and subscribing to the channel for more explorations into the mysteries of our universe.